All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into this really cool allegorical tale. Picture this. The entire universe is basically a super high-tech computer system, and the story's villain, well, he's its most dangerous hacker. So let's meet our antagonist, Sir Pent. And wow, on the surface, this guy is flawless, totally mesmerizing. But underneath all that polish, just pure, raw impatience. He wants power, and he wants it now. He has zero interest in actually, earning the wisdom to handle it.
Okay, so the story starts in the Great Council Hall. But get this, it's not some old, dusty courtroom. Nope, it's described more like a sleek, humming, high-tech lobby. Think Silicon Valley startup. And this is where Sir Pent makes his big demand. And it's also where the system, represented by this cosmic council, basically says, not so fast.
So instead of handing him a throne, what does the council do? They offer him what's basically a cosmic internship. They're like, look, you need some discipline, some real-world experience, before we can even think about trusting you with a whole galaxy. So his big assignment? A pretty tough training program they call Earth University. And the rules for this Earth University are laid out just like one of those terms and conditions agreements you never read. He gets a direct line to his conscience. You can think of it like a spiritual Wi-Fi connection. But, and this is a big but, the bandwidth can get throttled if he racks up unpaid karmic bills. He also gets spiritual helpers, but they're not automatic. He actually has to ask for help. And to top it all off, he's given a temporary physical body, this biosuit, to navigate the whole experience.
So how do you think he handles this new internship? Yeah, not well. Once he gets to Earth University, he looks at the curriculum, stuff like service, patience, humility, and thinks it's completely beneath him. He just scoffs at the whole idea of being a servant warrior. In his mind, he's already smart enough to be king, like right now.
So his very first move is basically a digital one. He decides he's had enough of tutors telling him what to do. So what does he do? He just mentally unplugs his router. He completely severs that connection to the universal knowledge base in his own conscience. He's choosing to go completely offline from the system. And then he develops his own curriculum. It's this sort of spiritual malware he creates for the other students, and he calls it serpent logic. The whole point of it is to corrupt their thinking, to take any guilt or shame they feel about their own failures and twist it into pure resentment against the system itself. In his method for spreading this stuff, it's really insidious. He finds students who are already struggling, feeling ashamed or guilty, and he just whispers in their ear, "Hey, it's not your fault. The whole system is rigged against you. You shouldn't feel bad, you should be angry." He pushes apathy and mischief, and one by one he recruits them into his growing army of the disgruntled. Well, as you can imagine, Sir Pent's botnet, this huge network of negative energy, starts to grow and cause some serious chaos. The council sees this happening and realizes, okay, we can't just let this thing run wild. They decide it's time for some more direct and way more dramatic interventions. So they launch this series of what are essentially system reboots, and each one gets more intense. First, there's a massive planetary data wipe. Yep, the Great Flood. When that doesn't quite work, they try a more targeted purge with fire and brimstone. And then there's even a denial of service attack in Egypt, all to try and free the students who've been enslaved. But here's the thing. Sir Pent is an incredibly slippery hacker. He manages to survive every single one of these system-wide attacks. How? By hiding out in the unmonitored basements of the students' own minds. All that corrupted thinking, all that unacknowledged pain they're carrying around, it's like his personal cloud storage, his cached data, where he can just hide out. So the council finally realizes that these brute force smiting tactics just aren't cutting it. So they shift their strategy completely. They figure, okay, instead of trying to destroy the virus, what if we introduce a perfect piece of software? They decide to send in a live demonstration of a perfected soul to show all the other students what's actually possible. This demonstration is, incredibly dramatic, super powerful, and it ends with the savior being crucified. Now, from Sir Pent's point of view, this is it. This is the ultimate victory. The light of the world has been snuffed out. He's sure that now the students will just fall into total despair, proving his whole point that death is the end, game over. But the council's plan had a crucial little feature built into it, a sort of system pause, for just 3 days. And then the final part of the council's code executes. He's back, and not as some ghost or apparition, but in a fully resurrected, radiant body of light. This completely proves that physical death is just an illusion. It's like a temporary server crash, not a total system wipe.
You see, the Savior's ultimate lesson wasn't really about his own power. It was about theirs. He was the proof of concept. He was there to demonstrate that every single student has the potential to achieve that exact same level of self-mastery and overcome their physical limits.
So now, Serpentis is faced with undeniable proof that his entire philosophy is just wrong. So what does he do? He deploys his most brilliant and most insidious hack yet. He doesn't even try to deny the story of the resurrection. No, he hijacks it. He just changes the metadata.
And his new strategy is honestly kind of brilliant in a twisted way. He takes the Savior's original message of empowerment. You are powerful, you can be like me. And he flips it into a message of total dependence. No, you're worthless. You can never be like him. The call to work on yourself and repay your spiritual debt, he turns that into a rumor that the debt is just canceled forever. No work required.
So he sells them this incredibly appealing lie. You don't have to study. You don't have to change. You don't need to work on mastering yourself at all. All you have to do is believe that someone else did all the work for you. It completely turns a call to action into a permanent permission slip to just do nothing.
Okay, so after watching an entire generation get completely lost in this do-nothing lifestyle, the council decides it's time for one final wake-up call. But this one's going to be different.
This time, there are no crazy sci-fi special effects, no rivers of blood, no pillars of fire. Instead, the council just intensifies the planet's own natural cycles. We're talking plagues, worldwide economic turmoil, more natural disasters. The goal is just to make the world so unstable that the students have no choice but to stop and look up.
But of course, Sir Pent, ever the master strategist, he hijacks this crisis too. He uses the chaos to get the students locked in their own homes, getting paid by the government to do nothing, and traps them in this digital basement of endless distraction. You know what I'm talking about. Social media, streaming services, just mindless entertainment 24/7. And that brings this entire cosmic allegory right to our present moment, framing our modern world as the latest move in this epic chess match. And it leaves us with this really provocative question, right? Are the crises we're all facing today the ultimate system reboot? The final shutdown designed to wake us all up? Or is this just the next, even more complex level in the game?